Within months, Ashley was claiming Doug was abusive. She filed for divorce, moved across state lines, and most importantly, she was pregnant with Doug's child. The custody battle that followed would become the foundation for murder. Here's where the story gets disturbing. Court documents reveal that Doug was fighting for joint custody of their daughter. For most fathers, this would be normal. For Ashley, it was unacceptable. Friends and family members would later testify that Ashley had made chilling statements. She couldn't bear the thought of sharing her daughter. Some witnesses claimed she said she'd rather Doug be dead than have visitation rights. But Ashley was smarter than that. She knew that simply wanting her husband gone wasn't enough. She needed a plan that would make her look like the victim. The plan was already in motion. For months leading up to that fatal September evening, Ashley had been building her case. She documented alleged incidents of abuse, though friends of Doug would later claim they never witnessed any violent behavior. She moved to South Carolina, claiming she feared for her safety. But here's the crucial detail that prosecutors would later use to unravel her story. Ashley had been carrying a loaded gun in her bra when she first met Doug back in 2016. This wasn't a woman who suddenly armed herself for protection. This was someone who had been prepared for violence from the very beginning. September 27th wasn't random. Doug had driven to South Carolina to pick up their daughter for court-ordered visitation. Ashley had agreed to meet him at a rental property she was supposed to be packing. But when Doug arrived, he wasn't there for a peaceful custody exchange. What happened next, according to Ashley, was an attack. She claimed Doug hit her, cornered her in a bedroom, and she had no choice but to reach for a gun. In her tearful testimony, she described firing in self-defense, claiming she told him to stop before pulling the trigger. But investigators were about to discover something that would turn this entire narrative upside down. When paramedics arrived at the scene, Doug Benefield was still alive. He couldn't speak due to his injuries, but he was conscious. And here's what investigators found that Ashley never expected them to notice. The physical evidence didn't match her story. The bullet trajectory, the blood spatter patterns, Doug's position, none of it supported a scenario where Ashley was cornered and firing in desperate self-defense. Instead, the forensic evidence suggested something far more calculated. Doug had been shot in the back. He was trying to leave when Ashley fired. But wait, it gets worse. Prosecutors discovered that Ashley had called a lawyer before she called 911. Think about that for a moment. A woman who had just survived a life-threatening attack from her husband's first instinct wasn't to get medical help for the man who was still dying on the floor.